What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to some positive news, especially for a lot of you guys, because there is a new, I don't know if I need to call it a project, but a new clear idea apparently at the club. And the clear idea is one, build an Italian Juve squad, and two, potentially put an Italian coach, Conte, in charge. Now, the last part is up in the air. It depends on what Tudor is going to do in the next 7 games. But the thing that has been fixated by the club is an Italian Juve squad, an Italian core who understands the club, and that is the plan this summer. Invest in that regard. Invest in those type of players rather than other players. The names are obviously Tonali. That's a strong contender. Actually, the main target, apparently, but also the names of Udogie, Ricci, Luca, Coppola. All these names are popping up, and actually not just popping up, they are being linked, seriously linked. So let's talk about it, because there are good things to it, and also there's a potential danger linked to it, which the club needs to navigate through. Before we get into it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about the Italian links. Okay, so all Italian, and I think I'm gonna say 80% of the fan base, maybe less, maybe a bit less, but it's a high percentage, want an Italian Juve squad. Now, I'm okay with it as long as if it's quality. If it like don't buy Italians just because they're Italians. For example, Keane wasn't working out with us, so it was okay to move him on. We should have moved him on, which we did. It's working out for him now, and that's good for him, but it wasn't working out for us. That's what I'm saying. For example, one of the links is Lorenzo Luca from Udinese. I think he scored like about 11, 12 goals this season. However, the price tag is 35 million. That's not a main guy. That's my point. He's not a main starter for a top club. So you shouldn't invest 35 million euros or 30 millions for Luca. The priority is improve the first 11, because that is still the main target. And the club moved out from Motta, deciding we don't want to do a long-term project. We are in win now mode, especially if you're linked with Conte. It's win now, so it's all good being linked with Italians, and it's good, it's positive, but also considering what you did with Motta and went to Tudor and linked to Conte, you need to get players who are ready right now. One of them obviously is Tonali. If you insert them in this team, he improves this team 100%. I even think a player like Ricci improved that team 100%. However, is that much needed right now? That's a question, obviously. Udogie improves the team right now. Does he improve the team enough to be in win now mode? That's up for debate. I'm not the biggest Udogie fan. I'm also worried about his fitness level, and I'm having PTSD with our fitness level now. Perin is even out as well, without even playing anything really. He's out. The injuries are a big concern. Douglas Luiz clean, now injured, and then being linked with players like Udogie, that puts actually fear into me. It really it does. But a player like Coppola, for example, is he ready now? Do you insert him in the starting 11 and we improve? No. Is he a project? Is he a potential you cannot miss out on? Maybe, but that's the danger part of the Italian thing the club wants to do. You still need to focus on improving the squad right now. In the meantime, if you can add pieces to it, fine, but the focus should be right now. We need to improve the first 11 right now. Tonali obviously does that. If that's realistic, it doesn't sound realistic right now. However, if the club has that idea and they're working towards that idea, fine, make it happen, I guess. But does an Italian core means automatically we're going to win? No, it doesn't mean that, because I think a lot of people do not like Locatelli, for example, and he's Italian. He loves the club. Yesterday, he spoke to Buffon, or post-game he spoke to Buffon, and he told Buffon, how much I care about this club and what it means to play for this club. So he cares, but still a big part of the fan base doesn't like him, not just because he's Italian, that means it's enough. So That's the danger part. You can add Italians, but they also need to add quality, and commitment. People have a lot of commitment questions when it comes to Cambiasso. Do you actually want to be here? So on, so on. We moved out Fagioli. That is probably a weird thing to do if you want to build an Italian core, even if you think he's not starting material. If you move him on for like 40 million, like even if you do that, like then surely he's good enough to be a squad player. And I'm talking from Giuntoli's perspective, to move him out, excuse me, and now go 360 and go the Italian way again. You have players at Fiorentina, the club's looking at Italian players, so that is the thing. We don't have a lot of Italian players. You have Gatti, you have Di Gregorio, obviously, you have Cambiasso, but he's not playing at all this season. Basically, he's not playing much, and you have Locatelli. So you don't have a lot of Italian players, excuse me, on the bench as well. Savona, I don't think he's going to be here next season as well, so it's not an Italian squad. And usually we have a lot of Italians, and call it coincidence or not, when we were winning stuff, we also had Italian players. Obviously, maybe it was luck or whatever, when we were winning stuff, you have Buffon, Bonucci, Chiellini, and Barzagli at the back, and that's insane. You have Marchisio up, and that was an insane core. You're not going to build that core again. But having an Italian goalkeeper, maybe an Italian starting center back or left back, whatever, two starting midfielders. I don't think there are a lot of Italian options up top. I've seen talking about Orsolini, and he's on that list. He's doing well at Bologna. Do you want to invest in a 28-year-old Orsolini? Is that what you want to do? Probably not, So again, it's a good idea. It's a positive idea, I think, but you need to be careful with it. You cannot just throw away the money because they're Italians. The main focus should be improving the starting 11. If it's only possible with Tonali, fine. And if you want to add a player like Coppola for the squad, also fine. But that cannot go against the main focus of, okay, we need to improve that backline massively. If that's with an Italian player to start right now or not, that, time will tell. But the quality should not go out of the window just because you're focused on, okay, it's all Italian. That's what I'm trying to say. But maybe that's the way. Maybe it is the way. I don't know what the way is right now. I think nobody really knows what the way is. I think everybody has a theory about what the way is. Buy Tonali, buy him, bring that coach in. But right now we've done so many things, and so many things didn't work that only time will tell. And it's a scary time. It's a worrying time, and some might describe it as an exciting time because you have many options to explore, basically. But I think we've been there, and we explored, well, not much fun. Basically, we explored misery, basically. But let's see if that's the new. I don't want to call it project. I'm gonna call it the new way the club wants to go in. Okay. Let's see. Let's wait and see, and let's see what the club will cook up in the summer. But obviously, you need to make Champions League. That's a given. While recording this video, because I pre-recorded it. Excuse me. Bologna equalized against Napoli, which is not positive. That's why I was pissed. And people were coming at me for being negative. Like, we need to be realistic. We need to get in Champions League, and that Roma game wasn't good enough, especially not going for the win, banking your hopes on, Bologna play Napoli. Bologna are on a crazy form. They can beat any team. They can beat Milan easily, Atalanta easily, Fiorentina easily. All these teams they play, no issue, So that is where I was saying we need wins. We need to rack up wins because Bologna are not going to drop many points, nor are Lazio. And Fiorentina are coming as well. That's why I was really pissed, about the performance. In hindsight, there were some improvements, especially in the first half. And I gave credit, in my reaction that we kept Roma at bay, but technically Roma played a very poor game, in possession. But again, the Juve I want to see, we are so far off it. And again, I'm not saying we're going to see it right now. This is the Juve we're going to see 2 weeks into Tudor tenure. But I have an idea of Juve. I'm not going to overpraise bare minimum stuff as effort and so on, especially not for these players. That, like, we shouldn't praise effort for these players when they've shown absolutely no effort throughout the months, years at this club. Like, that's bare minimum. I'm not gonna applaud that. That's, you play for this club, for this great club. The bare minimum is effort, and so on. So that's why I was really pissed. But let's see. We play Lecce on Saturday, and we absolutely need to win, and we need to make a statement. It needs to be a good performance as well. I think going to Parma, and then it's Monza as well. Games you absolutely need to win. You cannot drop any points in that. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think about the new idea the club has, Italian ways. Which Italian players do you want to see at the club? Which one do you rate? And again, how far should we go? In this new way of thinking the club has. Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.